Stratford University has closed, and we want to describe what will be the consequences for the students who are actually studying right now in the university, who have on OPT, who are on STEM extension, those people who graduate from the Stratford University. Can you explain more about this university, why it was in the radar of you for a long period of time?
Yeah, we've definitely known about this university for some time because we know for qualifying people in the master's cap for H-1B, the master's degree had to have been from an accredited university that is also public or nonprofit. And Stratford University is a private school and a for-profit school, and it was having some issues with accreditation because of the ACICS accrediting agency lost its ability to be giving accreditations. But even now with all of that, they aren't accredited at all. So we have an unaccredited school that is private and for-profit. So we've known that cannot allow someone to file in the master's cap for the H-1B. But now the school's closing, we have even more consequences for people.
Emily, what's going to happen with the people who are studying in the university or an F1 visa? Can they now move to a different university? Because do we have any information if the service is closed or not yet?
Yeah, we haven't heard anything from Civis or ICE about closing or terminating their ability to give those transfer I-20s. So at this point, and it looks like this, the school is going to close at the end of this term. I don't know if that's December when most schools end.
It could be closing soon too.
Yeah. So
I do not want people who are on F1 student visas right now to actually delay it until the end of the semester. I may want to join them, have them join in some community colleges or whatever it is, not to move their civic system, because once the civic closes, we don't know whether they will be able to get into another university. That's what my thinking process is. If you are right now in Stratford University, you better move out of the university, transfer the civics ASAP, if not consult a lawyer, to have a clear directions where you're heading. But what will happen to all these nursing students?
Yeah,
or the IT students? Is there any press release?
Yeah, according to the school, they're working with other universities in the area to allow their students to transfer into these other universities. And on Stratford's website, they're saying that for people that are studying IT, that the University of the Potomac is willing to accept those students, so students should be able to transfer their SEVIS to that school. However, University of Potomac is also private, it's also for-profit, it is accredited, but it does not allow you to get in the master's cap if that's why you're attending this school. So be careful of that school as well. We would definitely recommend you choose a school carefully. If you need to transfer your SEVIS now, look into community colleges in the area, or look into household name colleges that most people have heard of. Because
temporarily is where the major trouble comes in, Emily, right now, because we don't know whether they have a time until December, they have to move right now. So I would have them move to the community college right now and then transit from there to another university. Because once the civic is closed, they'll be in big trouble. Because to find a university that will give an admission so soon, which is a normal university, and we're not speaking of the other day one CPT universities, which another one bite the dust every month, we know that. So definitely transit to the university or community college, which normally admission process is easier so that you can transit to better university. Emily, what about the people who are on CPT right now with the university? What do you tell them to do? Is a CPT valid once the university closes?
Yeah, definitely not. So again, you'll have to look at transferring to another school in order to continue to maintain your F1 status. And most likely, if you're transferring to another legitimate school, CPT is not going to be an option for you. So you may have to stop working and just go to school in order to properly maintain your F1 status.
What about the people who are already an OPT? They already got an OPT right now. What's going to happen with them?
I think this is where we have major difficulties because, again, you're going to have to transfer schools even though you've already graduated. And when you get a new I-20 to go to the new school, your OPT ends immediately. As soon as you get that I-20, you can't transfer schools to continue your OPT. You can only transfer schools to start a new program. So you're basically, if you don't leave the US or have already changed status to H-1B or any other visa that you qualify for, your only option is to continue to study in the US, transferring to another school, losing your OPT. You will not get that time back later, but going to a legitimate university to actually take classes and study.
What about the people who are in STEM extension, Emily? Is that the same story as OPT?
Same story. So even if you have 2 years left on your STEM extension, in order to continue your F1 status, you're going to have to transfer your SEVIS to a legitimate school. And as soon as that happens, your STEM extension is over, and you won't be able to apply for it again, even if you graduate with another STEM degree.
But under the current circumstances, guys, if you don't move out of this university, not only that you will be losing the OPT or STEM, but you will be also losing the status if you don't join another university. So it is very important for you to move to a different university, even if you have to sacrifice the OPT or STEM extension. Emily, there are some issues that pop up when people go to India, when the people go to Canada, especially these education evaluation agencies, Emily. They want to see the transcripts, and the transcript should be directly mailed from the university to the education evaluation agency. What's going to happen for the people who already graduated and if this university closes?
Yeah, so number one, get your transcripts now, your official transcripts. But even if you get those, if you are looking for a job in another country or to file immigration in another country, many agencies require that your transcripts, the original sealed envelope of the transcripts, be sent directly from the school to the agency where you're applying for something. And unfortunately, once the school closes, they won't be sending any transcripts. So this is going to definitely impact your ability to rely on this degree from Stratford in order to get any kind of immigration or job in another country.
Emily, we have seen so many universities like that. Silicon Valley University, Tri-Valley University, Hergron University, and we have seen University of Northern New Jersey. We have seen, Farmington University. What are the precautions people need to understand when they are joining these kind of universities? I mean, how do you determine what's the difference between a good university and bad university?
Yeah, definitely a university that has practically no requirements for you to get admission. There's no process. You're admitted as soon as you speak to someone. That's a problem. Universities that allow you to start your classes whenever you want rather than spring, summer, fall, like normal universities do. Those are problems. Universities that offer you day one CPT. Those universities are always the ones that end up in this situation.
That includes the Farmington, University of Northern New Jersey, Tri-Valley, Silicon Valley, Hergron University, and now we have Stratford University. These are some of the universities. There are other more universities that also. So, Emily, a lot of people in desperation, they think so that they're doing a good step by going and joining these day one CPT universities. In fact, they do advertise in their thing saying, "Hey, day one CPT, immediate CPT available to those people who qualify." Is that a good indication? Because I'm getting a work permit, should I go there? What are the negative consequences for those?
Yeah, those are definitely big red flags that you need to run away from those schools, because as we've talked about many, many times before, CPT is only authorized in a graduate program after you've completed 2 semesters. And these schools are using a loophole to basically say you can start CPT from day one because it's required by the program. But they're requiring it for the program literally just for international students. There's no U.S. students going to these schools. No. And so that's another big red flag. If all you see are people from other countries and they're all day one CPT, they're all working 40 hours a week and only taking classes once a month, or 6 hours in an entire semester.
6 days an entire year.
Yeah.
6 days an entire year. That's how much I used to go to the, when I was going to the law school, 6 days a week I used to go. These people go 6 days a year. That's definitely a clear indication.
Yeah, so we, from the beginning have recommended not utilizing these schools. The problem is, you graduate from one of these schools or you later get your H-1B, great, but getting the change of status to H-1B has been problematic for a lot of people because the USCIS claims that the F-1 was not maintaining status because the CPT was not properly authorized. In addition, if you get your change of status denied, now you've got to exit the US and apply at the consulate. We're finding many people are being found inadmissible, denied visa for fraud or misrepresentation because they attended these schools.
That means they can never ever come back into the United States.
Right. And the same thing, even if you get the visa, we see people that are stopped at the port of entry at the airport and sent back because they've attended these schools. So it might be a nice short-term solution to an immediate problem that you have if you didn't get selected in the lottery, for example. But the long-term consequences are just not worth it when you see people having this issue with now their OPT is over. They can't utilize that. They can't use their STEM extension. They can't get transcripts. It's going to impact them for their future career.
Emily, this question comes on very frequently for me is that you're telling not to join the day one CPT university and the low admission standards and whenever the university starts is a bad idea. 6 days, classes every year, that means 3 every semester. You're telling these are the bad signs. How come these people ask a question? They are accredited by the government of United States. They have the civis, which allows them to issue an I-20. How come they are allowed? Aren't they legal? Is the question.
Yeah, that is a great question because you would think if they're not following the rules that the government would shut them down. We do see the government shutting them down often, but sometimes that can take years for them to do. I feel like any of these schools that are doing this, it's only a matter of time before they do eventually get shut down by the government. They're likely gathering data. They're going through investigations right now. I would expect a lot of these day one CPT schools are actually under investigation. And, unfortunately, the government allows them to continue to operate so they can keep gathering evidence.
Yeah.
And get the big fish who are, doing all of these things wrong. And, unfortunately, it's the students that are the ones that end up being the victims a lot of times.
Anything else, Emily?
I think that's enough for
If
now.
you have been to Stratford University or if you're going to Stratford University, you may need a legal advice to contact a lawyer at this point of time. And also for the people who are going to the other universities similar to that, believe me, there are universities. There is a song that says, "Another one bites the dust." Remember that. Silicon Valley University, Tri-Valley University, University of Northern New Jersey, Farmington University, Huron University, and now Stratford University. I want to make sure that the name of the university is Stratford, not Stanford. Believe me, Stanford is one of the best universities in the world. So we are not speaking of that Stanford University. We are only speaking about Stratford University. Am I pronouncing it properly, Emily?
Stratford.
Okay. Stratford University, not Stanford University. Thank you very much.